Our last paper, of course, is the front page newspaper. The banner headline from struggle to strength, the Long's 2029 presidential push sparks concerns over Liberty Party's future ties to the Unity Party. Vital development tool, Associate Supreme Court, Justice Yusuf D. Kabal launches Liberia School of Law Rule of Law lecture series with call for far-reaching reforms of the judicial legal system. Celebrating financial growth, National Teachers Association of Liberia Credit Union records $20.4 million Liberian dollars surplus, big ground for first headquarters. U.S. to drastically slash embassy visa processing across Africa, 20 countries included. Liberia not affected. That's the good news. The news of Donald J. Trump and President Joseph Nyimabwaka. On the level on the right, we have Liberia Foreign Minister and the Secretary of State of the United States of America. But this is what it says. The nearly 50 United States diplomatic posts currently handling visa application will be cut to 20 in the coming weeks, according to 3 U.S. officials and an internal member. No firm date has been set, though the change is expected in June. The official spoke on condition of anonymity as they were not authorized to comment publicly. Former Foreign Minister Kimia dismisses claim that ex-President George Manawiya has quit 2029 race, and race declares we will be on the ballot, unquote. He says in a quote, for anyone to think that His Excellency President Dr. George Manawiya, the 25th President of Liberia and the incoming 27th President of Liberia, will surrender that desire to contest the presidency to anyone on planet Earth, that desire is inconceivable. It is not practical. That thought in itself is diabolical, and it is wickedness to the Liberian people. Unquote, Ambassador D. Maswe Sakimia, former Minister of Foreign Affairs. The back page says that the sport page Nisa bet Liberia draws football legends, celebrities to Champions League finals. From controversy to contention for final historic league crown for Shatter Angels. Editorial, Rodney Sears paper is captioned, Liberia cannot afford to look the other way. Buy the 2 newspapers, get an understanding of what is trending, so you live in a country where you know exactly what is in the web. But that's not the menu I want to dish my food from this morning. My breakfast is so sumptuous, and I want to put it the way they ought to be so that together we all will have a nice, very sumptuous breakfast. My special studio guest is the political leader of the Alternative National Congress, Alexander Benedict Cummings. I wanted him to give me an assessment and the great point on the overall performance of the party under the leadership of President Joseph Nyimabwaka in several areas. Matter of fact, good morning, Mr. Cummings.
Hey, Max, good to be back. Always good to come and have a conversation with you. You know, I recall when I entered the political space, almost 10 years now, time has flown, right? You were among the first people that I interviewed with. I remember Ledger Rennie was at LBS, interviewed me as well. Patrick Horner was at LBS, interviewed me as well. And of course, you've been on this journey as well. So I had, CDC people interview me, Ledger Wood, Unity Party, Patrick, and yourself, more independent. But it's good to be here. We thank God for good. Today makes feelings.
You look to be enjoying the good.
Yeah, no, I thank God, seriously.
Sometimes it's good not to grow weight. I mean,
Yeah.
Those of us that are small, we can manage with.
And a lot of it would have lasted long too. Like, we would have a long time.
That's some blessing God gets
So
us.
could have, but just for the Arsenal fans, we won the Premiership, we lost the Champions League.
I don't want to discuss that.
So
I would have. No, okay. Arsenal won, but the hurt part is that they lost. Why not
the Champions League?
Yeah. I want this year to be a moment, but come on, football is what it is.
it is. It is.
You can't
You win some, you lose some.
You win some, you lose some. That is the beauty of the game. But let's forget about football. Let's get to serious business, because I'm in the business of stewardship and assessment of what the government has for us. So I want us to look at what do you make of governance, overall governance process of Jose Madueke, administration up to 2 years, and are we in 3 years already?
2.5.
2.5 years. So let's look at what is your assessment. Later, people think he's doing well. What do you think?
So look, I think we should judge that based on the common or the ordinary Liberian, right? And the question we should ask ourselves, we should ask the Unity Party, is the average Liberian better off today than he or she was 2.5 years ago? Are they able to pay their rent consistently? Are they able to afford 3 meals a day? God forbid they get sick. Are they able to pay and find a good hospital to attend? Is electricity more consistent in the country? I think these are the questions. And when I think about governance, there's what I call the macro. You look at the macro numbers, GDP growth, etc. But then you look at the microeconomy. How is the market woman? How is the policeman? How other civil servants? The nurses, healthcare workers, teachers. Are they better off? And I think the answer is no, they're not. I think if you look at the life of the ordinary common Liberian farmers, teachers, healthcare workers, motorcyclists, over the last 10 years, their lives have effectively not changed. Nothing has changed, right? And it's sad, it's unfortunate, because this country, and I think, maybe you will raise other questions as we go, this country has a lot of resources. And it's about getting our fair share from those resources, T-Max, and then how we spend the money so that it impacts in ordinary common Liberians, not just a few at the top. So I think the government has a lot of challenges, right? And I think if the country were to grade the UP government on these issues I just talked about, I think they would get a failing grade.
They will get a failing grade.
I believe so.
People are saying, basically, if you look around, Bracket is CDC claims this Saturday. Bracket is sort of completely more or less doing what CDC claimed that he started. Bracket is working on the roads all over the country. Bracket is expanding the electricity. But basically, the concern has been, okay, you're doing the roads. Okay, electricity will reach to my neighbor who are last. But I need a money to spend.
Yeah. Look, I think people who are saying that must be UP partisans, and they're benefiting from the country the way it is. And there are a few thousand people across the country that the current system, benefits them. But again, if we ask the ordinary, the average, the common Liberian, is your life better off today than it was 2.5 years ago? The answer will be no. I'm pretty confident. Even this electricity.
So the measurement would be
the way they talk about electricity, right? I refer to LEC as a Christmas light. Rain Season Electricity Corporation. So Liberia Rain Season Electricity Corporation, LRSEC. That's how we should call them. Because in the dry season, our appliances at our house, blows up, lights up and down, up and down, up and down. So where's the improvement? And all electricity T-Max, you can't develop any country, right? You can't do manufacturing, it affects everything. You can't develop technology, right? And we should be using technology to help develop Liberia. So I think the government has a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities. Now they got, 3 years ago, maybe it will get better. But the early trends are not looking encouraging.
They're not looking encouraging. They're not looking encouraging.
They're not encouraging.
Liberia is endowed with so many natural resources. Somebody said, I don't know, and I'll keep asking the same question myself. God's got to be God. And I don't understand who this God is. But because undeservingly, and I'll put it this way, undeservingly, God has endowed on Liberia all the natural resources He's created. And you look around, you don't see exactly all this endowment, but we benefit from that.
Correct.
And I wouldn't put it that way because I don't want William V.S. Tubman to get up in his grave and say those things to me. We don't have anything to show for it. We bastardize all our natural resources to the point that where the resources come from, the people live below the belt.
Yeah.
My point is, we bastardized all of it.
Correct.
With the exception of the new Virgin that is on the road. Everybody wants to be chasing. Let's look at the mining sector. The Virgin now is put to mine. All our mining, if you go to B Mountain, if you go to Atlanta, if you go to Western Cluster, if you go to all of them, more or less in a way, have been occupied by foreigners. We don't see that. What are we missing? Are we not negotiating on the table? What comes to Liberia? We own the natural resources. In a way, you want it. If you want to extract it, what do I have to show? How should we have managed this?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say, I disagree with you that we don't deserve the natural resources. You said undeservedly.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't. I think you don't deserve it. But
what do you show for it?
That's up to us. What we do it, and that's on us. But we deserve everything we have in our natural resources to max. Look, there are multiple ways I want to talk about natural resources. I used to say consistently in the past, and I'm saying it now, that we are a rich country and we poor people. That's the disconnect.
And you don't deserve it.
It doesn't. No.
I can't even be rich and be poor.
But that's
you don't deserve it.
That because we're not managing it well, not that we don't deserve it. And so let's talk to the management of the natural resources. Look, I went to Wiswa, I think maybe it was 2021, 2022. And Wiswa used to be, the young people don't know this. Our old guys and girls know this. It used to be the Dama capital of Liberia. And I went there in like in 2019, somewhere, whenever in the past. And Tim, almost all of the Dama gone, and there is nothing to show for any Wiswa. No high school, no healthcare clinic, at least at the time, no electricity. You couldn't have like a cell phone signal. I mean, it's crazy, right? And it also goes back to the point that I keep seeing, we keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and we expect different results. This concession model has not worked. It doesn't work. We need to change it. I actually did a podcast on it. I encourage people to go online and visit what I said about what we should do differently, and we can talk about that now. Look, TMAX, if we're managing our resources well for the benefit of Liberian people, no Liberian should go to bed hungry. Literally, if we're managing the resources, look, I saw somebody send me a clip from the former Mines and Energy Minister, Wimape, where he said, and I don't know whether this is true or not, but I'm repeating what he said, that at one point, B Mountain Gold was taking $31 million in gold value a week. A week. It's online. You see, right? So if you multiply that by 52 weeks, that's the $1.6 billion. Let's say you cut that in half. Let's say cut it by 50%. That's the $800 million, right?
From one sector.
From one sector. From one concessionaire in one sector, right? And according to him, we get $50 million a year. The government of Liberia, according to him.
According to pay.
Yeah. So
$1 billion.
if those numbers are true, and as even you cut it in half, let's say you're wrong by 50%, that's $800 million. There's something wrong with how we manage it. No Liberian should go hungry if we manage our resources correctly. And we need to change the way we manage our resources and get value TMAX. We should be the experts in iron ore, in rubber, in diamonds. We should know from the time the shovel go into the ground to take the iron ore or the gold, whatever, to the time the company pay dividends to the shareholder. We should understand our value chain. So that when we go to negotiate, we're getting fair share. Look, these companies that make money too, they are investing, they have to get a return. But we gotta get our fair return, and we need to understand that. So you talk about Putu. Does the government have expertise?
I know you're going to the virgin. You're making me crazy, really, because if you look at the volume of natural resources we are, and where they are being exploited, you don't see that sort of how do I call it? You don't see that showed in the faces of those that live in those areas. Doesn't that tell you that our model in negotiation
is wrong?
It's wrong, of course.
And it's very poor. I mean, and it is unconscionable that our leaders, both in executive and legislative branches, is that they can sleep at night, knowing what's happening to our natural resources and the poverty you see in Cape Mount, in Nema, in all the places in Bomi. I mean, it's. I don't know how to sleep, right? We need to change the model. Look, there are different ways. We can do what they call production sharing, where we get a certain percent. We do the arithmetic, we do the math. That's why I said we have to understand the value chain. We do the math, we do the percent, and say, look, X% of what you produce, give it to us, we'll sell it on the open market. We'll take the market risk. Because when you don't do that, the current model, the price go down, they say they're paying us less in royalty, but it's still mining though. The mindset going, we're getting less money, but the same quantity of iron ore goes. So just give us our percent, we manage, or we set up a natural resource company. Other countries have done that. The example I like to use, because I think it's a successful one, is in Saudi Arabia. Aramco, the Saudi government said, we got the oil, we will go borrow money because that's the collateral you lose, right? We will hire the expertise. They can be Saudis, they can be from wherever, but we will own it, we will run it, and the Saudi people own Aramco as one of the most valuable companies. We can still own Putu. Let's go raise the money. Again, it's more complicated than I'm making this simplistic. It's more complicated than what I'm saying, but it's an option. Right? Let's go raise the money. The ore is the collateral. Let's start the company. Government owns it. Hires the people to run it, and let's mine it. If we're going to use others, right, then let's change the concession agreement, because we're not getting full value. And the communities around those resources and the whole country is not benefiting natural resources. So shame on us as a people. We deserve it. We got to manage it better. And there are alternatives. There are different ways of doing it. Why we keep doing the same kind of agreement?
And that's my question to you. Why we keep doing it? It doesn't work for the population. Why we keep doing it?
Yeah, again, in fact, as a country generally, we keep doing the same and expect different results. Definition of insanity, right? According to Albert Einstein. We gotta do it differently. We need different models. We need different people with different experiences to lead this effort, right? We can, again, you look at Putu. Do we understand the full value of that resource? Do we understand who buys iron ore today?
Who needs it now?
Do we understand that? The Chinese. Americans are self-sufficient in more or less iron ore, right? India imports some, but not much. The country that really imports iron ore today in huge quantities is China. Other countries do, but I mean in huge quantities, right? So should we be focused on working with the Chinese, for example, right? Do we understand the economics? Do we understand what it will take to do the port, to build the roads, to actually do the mining? Do we understand the math, the arithmetic? We need to understand that. So then we'll be negotiating, and we'll know how much to ask for, how much return they gotta make, etc., etc. And we appear to not care about it. People get some small money they think is big dollars. In the meantime, the resources is leaving, and our people remain poor.
So in other words, we have the resources. God, according to you, blessed us with those resources. our problem is we don't have the competence, we don't understand how it works. That's why we are being just cut down, and just guys come, mine the minerals, get whatever it is, and we are in the way we are.
It's not. It's if we don't have the interest, the to really try to get again full value, right? Is understanding our value chain, but it's having the interest to push ourselves to
It's
say,
an interest on the activity
it's both.
It's
But it starts with interest. You gotta start with as the leader. You gotta say, look, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen,
This is not working.
this is not working. Go and tell me what are different options for how we can do this. Go and study again the economics, the arithmetic, how you the value chain of iron ore. Let's understand again from the time they show up on the ground to the time whoever money pay their shareholders. Let's understand fully how much it costs, how much they invest, the market price, who consumes the product, how is it used, can we add value, do we need to work with the Guineans to do a steel mill because iron ore on both sides of the border, right? Because that's how you add value to iron ore. Do we understand this? Are we asking the right questions? If we don't have the expertise, Tim, let's go buy the expertise. I was in Rwanda a few weeks ago, as you probably know, and there's an African country that works, right? What the Rwandans did 20 plus years ago, when they didn't have the expertise, they went and got the expertise. Sometimes they were Rwandese who were in the diaspora. Canadians, French, Americans, Ugandan diasporans, right? But they got the expertise to understand what to do. President Kagame set up an economic a group of advisors that came from different countries in Africa and Europe, right? Get the expertise, ask the questions, right? If you want to know, let's go get the expertise. We shouldn't be embarrassed. The objective is let's get good value for our resources, however we want to get it, and then let it benefit our people. Right? Schools, hospital. Why librarians come back hungry?
With your vast,
It's unconscionable.
with your vast knowledge in this area, and the arithmetic, the profit and loss aspect. Why don't you learn your experience? Why don't you go to Baika, Kesa Baika? If some of you go from Sierra Leone again, I don't know what Sierra Leone, that's Sierra Leone. So blessed by God, for why I just don't know. But get your friend. With all this expertise, with all these big and big things that explain to us, which I think we lack, why don't you learn your expertise?
I'm happy to offer advice and expertise
Have you talked to him on that?
we have not spoken about that specifically, but I'm saying now publicly, I'm happy to offer advice in terms of how we should think about how we should
Because my
develop.
fear is that this last version we have on the roadside, this poultry, if it's not properly managed, if we don't get a real value of our poultry, if we didn't learn from our fiasco, the region of the different mines,
So that is the result.
we have to do it all.
Right.
So, give it about that, your project.
Correct.
But give it your project.
I'm happy to offer advice, offer support, offer expertise, to share what I know. There are other experts. We need to get, geologists, other experts together, right? But let's get a group of experts. Let's start with Liberians. See where Liberians have the expertise and some of that exists, right? And then where there are gaps, let's go and acquire it. Let's put that team together. Happy to advise them to be involved. Put that team together and let them come and recommend how we should export Putu. And there's Wologisi. We didn't even talk about that one yet, right? I'm sure there are more deposits in Liberia, right? There's diamonds, right? All of these things, let's understand. If we want to understand diamonds, let's go to Botswana. They got lots of diamonds. Let's learn from them, right? But we gotta get the expertise, right? And then we can negotiate to get fair share, so our people can benefit from the resources of this country. We'll be 178, 179, 178. Yeah.
By July,
By July, right? I mean, and among the poorest countries in Africa,
and we call it growth without development.
I mean, is crazy. It's disheartening, to be honest.
Liberia just
And it's sad. Yeah.
Just be wise. It's funny.
It's sad. And a few people, benefit, they eat the money, the corruption, the stealing, mismanagement, and the Liberian people continue to suffer. Right? That's what I'm saying. if you look at the life of the ordinary average Liberian teacher, healthcare worker, motorcyclist, their life hasn't changed over the last
Let's get
10
on the
years.
section. Let's. What we say, based on what we're talking about, we have been duped in this section. When we're talking about the money section, is because in my mind, we don't have the expertise, meaning we don't have the education that is required to be forceful when you get on the table to negotiate. We don't. Let's look at our area of education or about that.
So, yeah, again, in all of these sectors, TMAX, things are not improving. For education, I think we should be focused, and this is in the ANC manifesto, right? We have certain priorities with education. One, we say teacher training, teachers at every level, university, secondary, right? Make sure you got qualified teachers. Make sure they're trained. Make sure they're well paid. Today, the country has mostly, I say mostly because I don't have the exact number, I shoot, but volunteer teachers. So, which is a good thing. So we thank them. That's my point. And we thank them for volunteering, by the way. We acknowledge, we thank them. But that cannot be the system we have, right? We gotta train these teachers, make sure they're qualified to teach the subject matter, right? And make sure they're paid adequately because they're entrusted with the future of the country. They're entrusted with our young people. If we don't train our young people, if they don't educate, they don't have the skills, the country will get even worse, right? So teachers training, vocational training, right? Giving people carpentry. If you're going to develop infrastructure, if you're going to grow the economy, we didn't even talk about the economy yet, which is the other area I understand pretty well. You got to have an educated populace, right? If you're going to develop infrastructure, you need carpenters, you need plumbers, you need masons, electricians, so on and so forth, right? So you need two educational tracks. You need to make sure educational standards, both in the government schools, you got high standards, right? And make sure in the private schools, you got high standards as well, right? So again, there's a big opportunity to improve. The budget is now up to apparently $1.2 billion. But we're allocating it the same way we allocated it in the past. So even though it's a bigger number, and by the way, we predicted it should have been that a while ago. But if you keep allocating the same way just to recurring expenses,
So look at that level of education. What is it that we want? Have the teachers trained. It's one aspect of having them trained. They got to be trained. If it's done satisfactorily, compensated.
But that's my point. You got to do both. You got to make sure they train, and you got to pay them well. In fact, you got to pay all civil servants what I call living wage. Again, if we manage these natural resources, $4 to $5 a month should be minimum. Teachers, healthcare workers, policemen, military people, that should be the salary for them to pay, buy food, pay their rent, their children tuition, God forbid they get sick, go to the hospital, make sure the hospitals are, got the drugs and clean nurses, midwives, doctors, etc. But again, it's about the use of our natural resources. It's about investing in the people. The ANC, we gotta say one of our beliefs: invest in the people, and the people will develop the country. Right? Develop people meaning invest in education, invest in health care, right? In creating jobs. That's how you invest in people. Providing loans for market women, that's investing in people, and people will figure out how to develop the country, right? That's the paradigm shift. We gotta make sure the money is touching the ordinary, the common Liberian. We gotta be intentional. We gotta be decisive, persistent that happens. And how we measure performance, how we measure success should be based on that. Yes, GDP growth, important metric, right? All these other macro growth, but the average, ordinary, common Liberian are the lives improved.
Be able to interpret it.
You gotta be able to interpret it. You gotta feel it.
We'll take our break, please. I want to lay down some basic things before we open the line. So just give me 5 more minutes. So let me lay the basics of that. Let me not generalize health as it is. I want to look at one specific. The scare that is in Liberia now. Ebola. with all my sins, I always trust my God that He will not give me a problem, I will not be able to solve. That's what the Bible teaches me. That's what I overwhelmingly believe. The times you came to Liberia contributed to Ebola when I fight against you with Ebola. And Liberia recorded a story of how Liberia managed that. Our first experience to Ebola. So we had a success story. So Ebola is behind us. And we have COVID. And because we learned from Ebola, we're able to face COVID as well. We didn't never had a sort of casualty that we had in Ebola because of our ignorance of what the stuff was. Based on our traditional beliefs and cultural beliefs, it was not mini Ebola. The scare that we're hearing now, we saw different, disjointed, not coordinated the information dissemination to the public. They fear came Ebola. And we talk about different categories of people in that sector of health. The fear was that we have Ebola. Somebody said, I had a meeting with my boss, and boss told us that Ebola is here. We have some guys from some part of Africa, from the east, from DRC, and from Uganda, they're in Liberia. They are about 16. They're showing signs and symptoms of Ebola. So she told our co-workers, only for us to know that she was arrested for giving false information to the public. She was then authorized to do that. So we don't have Ebola. Quite simply, the government of Liberia paraded in the streets of Monrovia 25 new ambulances with the view of preparedness for the following Ebola was to come. Then the answer, people say in no uncertain terms, there is no Ebola. Answer is what we believe when it comes to this infectious disease. One of the simple, the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare presented a budget of $4.2 million, which is captioned as Ebola preparedness. What are you reading?
So, we, again, I keep going to my first statement. You keep doing the same and expect different results, GMAX. We need to take this Ebola risk seriously. And even if we don't have Ebola in the country, and we should give the government the benefit of the doubt, they're in charge, they say we don't have Ebola, we should still be focusing on Ebola prevention and preparedness and awareness, right? Because it's a serious disease, and we know the devastation it did to our country. All of the government entities should be working together. They should be coordinating. This is not a time to be trying to, steal money, make money on the backs of this risk, this national risk. We know killed thousands of our people, right? As you suggested, in 2014, we actually came to the country, we brought a delegation, we brought supplies, PPE, etc. So the government should be coordinating all the entities. The focus should be on awareness and prevention, and just reminding Liberians of what we need to do, right, so that it doesn't come to the country assuming it's not here yet. So preparedness, awareness, coordination, right? That's what we should be focused when it comes to Ebola right now, right? And that coordination among government entities, that focus, who's in charge, just to make sure what are we doing at the airports, what are we doing at border crossings, right? Those are places where potentially the disease can come in. So what are the specific actions we're taking there? Reminding Liberians of the awareness about the exchange of bodily fluids, washing hands. That's what the emphasis should be. Just remind us, awareness, to just get those behaviors and habits. That's what we should be focused on now, as so many governments already designed in the country. You do those things, we prevent it from coming, and or if it's here, we prevent it from spreading. And that's what we should be focused on.
Are the numbers justified?
I don't know, to be honest. I can't say whether I think the former head of Enfield was saying it should only do by only 1.3. As for 4.1, I don't have the expertise to say which is which. But the government should know what is required and then should provide the resources. Right. This is why the coordination is important, to make sure the left and the right hand, Ministry of Health, Enfield, all the partners work together, come up with a budget, and the resources should be provided. So again, we avoid Ebola coming back to harm our country, harm our people. The economic consequences, the deaths to families, the number of people that die, shame on us. Shame on us if we're not.
Are we really serious about this? I wouldn't call it because to answer is there is no sign and symptom of Ebola in Liberia. So if you hear from such a czar on infectious disease, you got no option but to believe what you say.
That's why I say
And so while the figures, he said when during this time they used $3.3 million when people were coming to town to help Liberia get Liberia back on course. This number for preparedness. In this man, the numbers are astronomical.
It sounds suspicious, but again, I don't have the expertise to determine that. I think the government needs to figure out what the right number is and then provide the resources to make sure, again, the focus should be on prevention, on awareness, right? As soon as it's not here, and we take them at their word, that it's not here, but let's prevent it.
Let's prevent it. Yeah. This program is brought to you is simulcast on Prime FM 105.5, Joy FM 101.5, and Kiet FM 95.9. And this is 50-50 on Sky One. The seminar special studio guest is Alexander Benedict Cummings. He is the political leader of the ANC. Let's take our break and be right back.
There's a place for the dreamers and so much more.
Uptown Garage, your one-stop auto solution. We are excited to announce the arrival of brand new tires, all sizes, all cars. Whether you drive a Jeep Wrangler, Toyota, Nissan, Ford, BMW, or Mercedes, Ford, we've got you covered. BMW, or Mercedes, not all. We've got you covered. At Uptown Garage, but that's not all. We offer state-of-the-art car repair services to keep your vehicle running like new. From genuine auto parts to top quality batteries and premium oil, everything your car needs is right here. Visit us today at Broad and Nelson Streets or on the IA Highway near Rehab Junction. For inquiries or to book a service, call +2 317 775 53317 or +2 3177 0902 865. Uptown Garage, where your car gets the care it deserves.
Hey, Tom, I need cash and there is no ATM around here.
Really? Did you try the Ecobank POS?
POS? I said I need cash. What is it about POS?
Sweetie, you can get your cash through the POS. All you need to do is visit any Ecobank Express Point or petrol trade gas station and request to use the POS. Guess what? It can also take other bank cards.
Oh, well, you've been in cards from banks overseas too?
Yes, it should just be your Visa card.
Wow, great. So when there is no ATM around me, I'll just use the POS to get my money fast. Ecobank has made it too easy, man. Ecobank innovation that real 5 and 6 so.
Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank.
Pay your water and sewer bills regularly and on time to enjoy uninterrupted service. Just dial *156*4*2*3#. Enter your LWSC account number. Select currency, Liberian dollars or US dollars. Type amount, then enter your mobile money PIN. Bills can also be paid at LWSC Cashier Center at the central office on Front Brown Street, or sub-offices in Caldwell, opposite IB Bank, New Georgia, around the water tower in the Gulf, Fiamma Synchron, adjacent to the Cabri Baptist School, and close to the LDA office, GSA Rock in the GSA compound, and Soul Clinic behind the Soul Clinic Public School. For additional information, call 5972 on Orange Call Free. Other numbers to call include 0777 464 171, 0886 616 767, and 0886 617 200. Stay connected, pay your bills regularly and on time, and let LWSC do the rest. This message is from the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation.
Sandra, where are you going?
To the next water and sewer office to pay my bills.
But you live not too far from Pinsville City Hall.
Yes, but water and sewer got no office in that area.
Oh, so you hear the news yet?
What news?
The Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation has a new cashier center at the Pinsville City Hall, where all LWSC bills can be paid daily, Monday to Friday, from 8 in the morning to 5 p.m.
What? So you won't tell me I've been wasting time on this road, waiting for back when I could just walk to the Pinsville City Hall to pay my water bills?
Enjoy improved, efficient, and convenient financial services at the new LWSC Cashier Center, recently opened at the Pinsville City Hall for our valued customers, mainly people living in the vicinity. For more information, call 0777 464 171, 0886 616 767, 0886 617 200, or our Orange Call Free number 5972.
Thank you. Remember back on 50 on a Tuesday morning on Sky 107, our special studio guest, Alexander Benedict Cummings. He's talking about, we're discussing different sector of our governance system. He's here for, we'll be here for 1 hour plus, because the lines, will open the lines so that you can get your participation. But let me clear my menu first, then you can have that time. Let's look at the rule of law on the Jusanyima Brackets government. Some people say that's the rule of law, and that assumption started from when the removal of Fonaki Kofa, the fallout of the Fonaki Kofa,
Yeke Koloba, change your position.
Do you believe that some of the Jusanyima Brackets will be accused of these outrageous mishaps? I never thought that would happen on his wife.
Yeah.
If we are true,
Correct.
we know him very well.
Yeah. Look, in fact, if you look at the arrest agenda, rescue agenda, rule of law was one of the things they talked about prominently. And as you said, the example, removal of the speaker, removal of Yeke Koloba, disobeying the court order regarding the tenure positions. These are not good examples. I don't know the merits of the case against Samuel Twell, but he was found not guilty. Rather than appeal, go to the appellate process, they started to say, oh, it was jury tampering, even though the jury was dismissed. I mean, it's like, if you think you got evidence, the jury found a man not guilty, then appeal. I mean, follow the process zone, try to create new process. It's disappointing, right?
You also president, because president have bigger ears and bigger eyes. Some people say president have the third eye that we don't see. In your presidential eye and ears, do you think that the jury will tamper with?
I don't know, but that's not my job as president to make that determination. That's the Justice Department or whoever's prosecuting, I'm assuming the Justice Department, they make that determination. But again, there's a process for how you go about that. You got to have evidence. You can't just declare or assert that there's jury tampering or proof or evidence, etc. And then my understanding is that the trial was over. The jury went home. So there's ineptitude, incompetence, or vindictiveness, or whatever, right? look, it appears that they only go after corruption from the former government. They're not looking at themselves. If you want to be credible, if the former government did corrupt act and the evidence is there, follow the evidence. Not the individual, the evidence. What evidence leads, do that. But then you got to look at yourself. To be credible, look at your government, your actions, what are you doing? And if there's, again, corruption there, you prosecute yourself. Then like Brent was, okay, the people serious about this thing now. They're not just going after the people in opposition, but they're also going after the own people who are corrupt and stealing, etc., etc. But again, back to this rule of law, there's a trend here that is alarming, that is concerning. And again, I don't care what the Unity Party people say.
Is the trend
there's a trend.
Is the trend designed for opposition?
It appears to be, right? It appears to be. So again, there's stuff happening today. I'm sure in the Unity Party government, they should be investigating, prosecuting, etc., right? And things are happening across the board, not just, picking a few people.
So why do people are saying, the opposition is saying that 12 was dropped 5 charges? 12 got cleared by the jurors, and juror was disbanded and went home.
Correct.
And 12 was called by. Is that what you call political wishing?
Yeah, it goes from prosecution now to persecution. That's the shift, right? The government had every right, if they had the evidence, to charge, to go through the judicial process. Again, I'm not privy to the evidence, but that's the process to go through. But if you go through the process and the jury said the man not guilty, then you follow the process, then you appeal. There's an appellate process, right? That's how it should have been done. In my mind, I'm not a lawyer, but my layman's view of the law, that's how that process should have carried on. You let the jury go, and then you come back, and it appears the judge may have been under some pressure to do what he did. I don't know, but that's the appearance, right? But those are not good signs, right? When you think about rule of law, and you add that to the other examples that you mentioned, getting rid of the speaker, getting rid of sitting representative. I still haven't seen the basis or the proof for Yeka being expelled. You look at what happened with the tenure positions. Again, that's a trend here. These are just facts.
Every time I look at Yeka's case, you think that Yeka did some stuff. Yeka took oath when he was taking office as representative to protect the sovereignty of Liberia. And it's admission to the fact that the then in question is not Liberians, it's Ghanaians.
But how is making that statement illegal? How is that basis for expelling him? He's wrong. He shouldn't have made a statement. He's wrong. But is that a reason to expel him? How is that treason?
It's a violation of his oath of office.
Is it? What does the oath say?
The oath says you're going to be for Liberia, protect Liberia, respect the Constitution, but the territorial integrity of Liberia. And he just blew it off.
Just to be clear, I disagreed 500%, 1,000% with his statement and assertion. But I don't see
why you disagree with it.
Because the lesson I'm forgetting. I don't know. That's not the point. The land is not forgetting, so I disagree with the statement completely. I wouldn't have said it. I don't know. But not the point how you arrive at that, didn't arrive at that. How does that constitute treason? How is that breaking the law? By breaking the state. Oh, come on.
You become an enemy of the state.
That's complete nonsense. Right? He shouldn't have made a statement. He was wrong for saying that, but that's not a basis for impeachment, for him to lose his seat. So that part is where maybe you had disagree on that part. False statement, shouldn't have made it. You can call it irresponsible, whatever. Not a basis for impeaching Yeka.
So let me take it back to the reason why Yeka was expelled. The issue of Liberia being at the border. Like I said, what are you hearing? And what is the state of aid now?
The sad thing is we're hearing nothing official, and the government will be telling us what's going on. So as you know, we issue a we did a post on this subject. There were three things we said should be happening in no particular order. One, we said there should be an investigation of what precipitated, what caused this thing to happen. We need to understand, and the government needs to make it public, investigate impartially, get the facts, what caused it. It didn't just happen. The Guineans didn't just get up and decide to come across the river. Let's understand that, because when you understand that, then you can find solutions. Right? If we did something wrong and we understand that, we can say to the Guineans, they're our brothers, our cousins, right? We can say, my man, look, we did this, it was wrong, we're not doing it again, let's just go back to status quo, right? Let me finish that, let me finish. That's one. So investigate, let's understand what caused it, right? Then the diplomacy can take over. The second thing we said is, those people that were displaced, the government needs to look after them. It's nothing they did. They got displaced, they should be looked after. And then third, the diplomatic route, right, to try to resolve it with the goal of returning to status quo, returning to where we were before. But part of that process is to understand what caused it, so it doesn't happen again.
So you think what caused it?
I don't know what caused it. The government needs to investigate their allegations, their assertions for what caused it. It would be irresponsible for me to repeat those things, right? So let the government investigate, right? There were assertions around illegal mining in the river. There were people accused of doing that. I don't know whether that's true or not. The government should investigate. Make public what happened. Make sure it doesn't happen again. Go have a discussion with our Guinean brothers. Again, on both sides of the border. Same tribes, same family members. We are the same people in the sub-region. These borders are somewhat out of
the RGMB in Kenya. How is the border? Think that was intentional?
I have no idea why you was asking the president that question.
It's so just on our lady asking about the border.
And how did the president respond? Right? That's the question, right? So, and I don't know what Joe's response was, President Volta.
So obviously, the Guineans are Liberian soil.
That's what is being asserted, that they own Liberian soil. But again, this is where, if that's not true, the government should say,
if you were president, and something like this happened, how would you have a president? Because when the things Liberia, he knows the soldiers around our land. He's asking our president, how does the border?
How we should have handled it is what I said earlier. We would have investigated to understand what happened, right? To get the facts. And based on those facts, we would have gone to the diplomatic side, back to the Guineans, in the Mana River, ECOWAS, whoever, to say, look, this is what happened. We will make sure it doesn't happen again. I don't know what it was, right? And so with the goal that we return to status quo, where the border lines were before. And as I said, we will look after those people that were impacted, were displaced. And again, right? depending on what that investigation led to, if there were meant to be consequences for any infractions, we would have made sure the consequences followed the results of the investigation.
Why do you think the Mano River Union is not taking up the case? Why do you think ECOWAS is not taking up the case? Why do you think AU is not taking the case? Let alone the United Nations. Why are we in the state of doing nothing about it?
Well, the question is, have we put it on the agenda of the Mana River Union? Have we put it on the agenda of ECOWAS, of the African Union, right? That is up to us. And again, the government should be telling us what's happening. What are they doing? Is it on the agenda? What is being discussed? What outcomes are we trying to get at? Again, understanding what caused it, because again, it didn't just happen. Something caused it. If you understand that, that's the basis for all subsequent conversations.
Do you think if we're in the wrong that resulted to this political quagmire, we would have gone on bended knees, right? I'm sorry, it didn't happen again. If we're in the wrong.
Yeah, if we're in the wrong, we go and say, look, this is what happened. We're not let it happen again. Let's go back to status quo. Yeah. All right. And maybe those conversations are happening.
You also agree that Guineans, it's not a state, it's an act of aggression. State is an act of aggression.
But again, we got to understand. Absolutely. But again, we got to understand. I don't think the Guineans just got up in the morning and said, we're going to cross the river take Liberian land.
Something precipitated that.
I think something
We need to
precipitated that.
understand what that is.
We need to
Tim, when we
understand what that is.
that,
Tim, when we understand that,
then figure
we
what
can
the solution is.
figure what the
The
solution
solution
is.
may be to go
The solution may be to go back to the Guineans, and maybe goes to the Monetary Union. But unless
And
we
none of those
understand,
none of us taking this very
is
seriously.
unless we understand
Why are
what
they not
caused
getting involved?
I don't know.
I don't know, because maybe we're not telling them
what caused it
and how they can help to resolve it.
Right?
Right? Because we are being, our land is being infringed upon.
We
need to lead, investigate, and then have the conversations about how we go back to the status quo.
Okay, we have two more questions before I open the lines. This letter that was sent to LACC, in a way, informing LACC, they're not giving you the likes of you. Lofa project, that's how they call it. One time later, and one else, LACC told you. You talk about corruption, the Lofa project, while the fall who owns it was funding it, and you want LACC to prove that.
Yeah, but those are all the questions, right? Look, we in the
Are you
ANC,
suspecting corruption?
I don't know. We in the ANC are very supportive of developing the developing country.
But
Let's do it the right way. There are reasons why we got laws on the books, we got processes, we got procurement rules, we got legislative rules about who procures money, how money is allocated.
all we're seeing
is let's
follow the rules.
follow the rules.
You
You likely could have done that same project
and just
follow the rules if that was the president's ambition or whoever's ambition was. Just follow the rules.
Now we
have a situation where we don't know. You missed the question. We don't know who is doing what. We don't know where the money is coming from. We got conflicting statements. We get a statement from the information minister saying one thing, the minister of public was saying something else. I think the presidency, the office saying something else. Presidency didn't know about it. We just want to understand who's in charge. Where's the money coming from? Did they follow the process? Did the legislature approve it? These are simple questions, right? Because again, are these monies that is being used that should be paying teachers more, healthcare workers more, right? Civil servants more. It is money to be used to invest in education, to invest in healthcare, right? So
What are you saying?
I am saying, we are saying, the ANC is saying, LACC tell us, they will tell us whether it has been or not. They need to investigate and tell us, yes, all the processes were followed. This is what the government went through the procurement process. They got these number of bids. The legislature, approved it. The money is coming from, XYZ. That's their job. That's what we need. That's what we need. Or they can come and say the rules were not followed. They have not responded to us yet, and we will give them, another week or so, because again, I think disrespectful, and again, maybe it's part of why we keep doing this. Expect different results, right? But let's see. Then we'll take it to the next step. Whether we go give information.
Next step,
whether we go to court to compel.
But we'll wait and see. Give it some time to come to react.
But we'll wait and see. Give it some time to come to react.
Who's doing what? How it happened?
But we just want to know
who's
doing what, how it happened. They said the state enterprises are funding it.
Is that the process?
Is that what they should be doing? Is that the process for how we
there was criticism,
etc.
In the past,
there was criticism in the past of the we are government and building houses. Are we going to be in the houses? Are we doing the same in a different way?
Questions, right?
I don't know.
We can't keep doing the same and expect different results.
Yeah, expect different results. Right?
And this is why our country don't move forward. We have to. Be disciplined. Follow the process. We shouldn't make any exceptions. Right. Big shot. It's not my time to chop. We gotta change that mentality. It's gotta be about the people. That's not the point. And I'm not saying the president chop or not. That's not the point I'm making.
Follow
the process.
There's a reason why those processes were put in place. Not just abuse. Let's just follow the process. Maybe they did nothing wrong, but let them tell us. But it seems suspicious, right?
My time is running out. I got two more questions. Please, just give me a chance to look at. When Dylan was interviewing, when the neck dressing that appeared for the Honorable Liberians. The Lord asking a question regarding 2% threshold. I'm not saying that would affect you though, because the ANC
I mean, it will not.
the ANC did not participate in 2023 national elections. The CPP did. So they issued a noise about 1%. That 1% is attributed to the CPP, not to ANC. What are you reading?
So just to clear the air and the law, and look, I think Dylan knew this. European politics, I think, it was when the LACC letter was sent to the LACC, and I think they were trying to distract, etc. But the law is very clear. It's both things have to occur before you're barred. So in the case of the CPP did get less than 1%, less than 2%, but the CPP got legislators elected. So on that basis, even this, if I wanted to run again as CPP, I can run again.
You kidding me?
Because the CPP had less than 2% but got representatives. Red, one from Lima, one from Maryland, one from Grand Crew. It goes, there's I think 4 or 5 at least. Right? And even in 2020, the CPP, Dylan is a CPP senator, as is Young Lee, et cetera, et cetera. So on a pure CPP basis, I could run again on CPP. The second point you made about the ANC was not about it, right? So ANC is not affected by that at all, right? So, we run on that basis. And the law applies to the institution, not to the individual. Okay. Right? So on that basis, but look, we're in politics. Look,
if you already said it, the institution, and the institution can perform self-definitely, then it's affected in a way.
No. I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding is it's not. And even if that was the case, the CPP had candidates who won, right? So CPP would qualify if they chose to. And in addition to that, the ANC was on the ballot in 2023. So the ANC, who I represent, can participate. But look, again, this was meant to be political and meant to be a distraction. Look, I know the nominee, was he confirmed without? The nominee was confirmed without? He understands the rules, and he will apply the rules. We know the rules as well, so I'm not worried about it. But they were playing politics. And we'll play with Dylan too. And he want to run again 2029. Reaching out to me, Tim Max. Pretty strong candidates. So this thing can work. Right. I remember when they were prosecuting me, I said there will be consequences.
Was it the
We'll keep doing this. We'll see. We'll see. I won't say too much more. Let's move on to your next time.
No. I'm not
threatening anybody. That's not my style.
Is there anything on your mind? They are putting major political charges on the field already. More or less, I think they are already starting canvassing for 2029 election. Historically, election-wise, history has told us no single political party has ever gone to the polls. Come from there, so we gotta be allies. You gotta be collaboration. What is the ANC thinking?
Yeah, no, look, we always have been open.
Will you be aligned with the Unity Party, or will you be aligned with the?
We have always been open. We have always been open to collaboration alignment. And in fact, naively, so some would say in the way we did it with the CPP, the people who were collaborating with, lied on me, took me to court, lied on the oath. So we will collaborate differently. We learn from our mistakes, right? But we open collaboration. It's early. It's still 3.5 years to go. There are other political parties, in the country we will talk to.
They're having their political parties.
What's that?
Having their political parties.
There are other political parties in the country, including the two big parties, CDC and Unity Party, and we open collaboration with everybody, right? The key for me we're not just going to collaborate just to take step out, just to one set of people come and other people leave.
Your ideas don't align with our ideas.
Ideas, I'm so clear that if we're going to go into collaboration, we'll spend a lot of time agreeing what we want to do for the country. What is quote unquote the agenda? We're not wait till we get office before
And
we
it
do
will
the
not be
agenda.
business as usual.
It will not be business as usual. We got to be clear on that because that provides the basis for the collaboration in terms of how you will work together in government, who will do what, who will take what position. It has to be in the context of what you're trying to achieve, and it's what we want to achieve for the ordinary, for the common Liberian. And we need to be clear. We need to make it public. And everybody need to know. We need to commit kind of a contract with Liberia. This is what we want to do. This is why we're collaborating. And then everything else can flow from that. But we open the collaboration with any institution that is aligned on what we need to do for the country. That it cannot be doing the same thing and expect different results. We got to do things differently. We got the rules that apply to everybody. We got to put in systems and processes because that's how you. I'll go back to my Rwanda visit. The last time I was in Rwanda was more than 15 years ago, and I was just there the last 3 weeks. This is an African country. It is so impressive, T-Max. Everything works. By the time you come to the airport, you don't need a visa, right? Get your passport for any African country. They ask you what you're there for, how long you're there for, what you stay. It's not that passport. No. You go to the customs, everybody go through. No big shot. Coming passing the line, everybody's in the line, right? The rules apply. The country is clean. No dirt. Everybody, they follow the rules. They stop at the traffic light. They cross at the crosswalk. Discipline, process, predictability. They do zoning, residential areas for businesses, offices, areas for factories. You know, in this Africa, they use technology. I didn't see anybody using cash. Everybody using mobile money.
Society.
Almost, I don't know if 100%, but my experience for the 3 days I was there, right? People, you pay for taxi, you pay in a restaurant, you pay your hotel, everything. People just use them. Everybody, mobile money technology, right? E-government, right? This is Africa. These are Africans. They're not smarter than you and I, right? And process systems, it's predictable, repeatable. You know what to expect. That's what we need to do, Liberia. And it can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done.
When you were in opposition, when Georgia was in power, the opposition was more or less aggressive, energized. I want to say noisy. You predicted one of your interviews that Georgia would be the one-term president. That came to pass. You said Mbaka seemed to subdue all the opposition, and everybody is quiet.
But I'm not quiet. I mean, I'm here having this conversation. Look, we will continue to call them out, right? And as you know, my criticisms are not personal. Literally, I mean, I consider you a friend. I know President Kwame. I get to know.
I don't want to call it. It's a society. It's a club. I'm not CWA people.
I know President we are. And look, as leaders, we should know each other. We're not enemies.
I don't know when you will ever have preference.
We're not enemies.
When you ever have preference.
We will organize it. So it's not personal, right? I've said this before, and even the ANC people don't like me saying this. People still you put in it. I want the government to be successful. I make no apology for saying that, because if they're successful, I mean, the suffering is less. That's what we want. If it makes it harder to replace them, that's a good thing. We should be pushing each other. We should be in a race to the top, not a race to the bottom, not pulling each other down, right? So my criticism is national, is based on facts, is based on the record of what people are doing, what they're saying, what they're not doing, what they're not saying. And we make no apologies for holding the government accountable.
You think GME might run 2029?
I don't know. I think so. Look, the reason why I said that is important answer. First of all, I don't know, right? But I'm a little bit of student of history. I don't want to overstate it, but I read a lot. And I look at history and trends. In the history of the world,
there are very few exceptions when an incumbent who's eligible to run for another term does not. The one example everybody points to Nelson Mandela. He was qualified to run. He did not run. Surprisingly, Lyndon Johnson was president of the United States. You know, he replaced Kennedy when he died. And then he could run twice. He ran once and he won. And he could run again. He also withdrew. I'm not aware, and I've done a little bit of research, of any other situation where an incumbent president was eligible to run again and didn't run. Right? That's why I think there's high chances Joe will likely run, just based on our history. But I don't know. I don't know. But just based on the history, it would say likely.
Okay, so thank you for accepting our invitation. But we're going to open the lines. I leave us some few callers to participate. So I say to you, callers on those numbers on 0777 107, Wednesday callers on 0777 221 223. Or you use our Facebook page, Sky Communications Library. Our special studio guest is Mr. Alexander Cummings. He is the political leader of the ANC, and this program is being simulcast on Prime FM 105.5, Joy FM 101.5, and Care 95.9 FM. Let's go to the line and talk to our first caller. Good morning. Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning to the General Community of the ANC. Good morning, Mohamed Tambalo, and a member of the ANC. I want to appreciate the ANC for the General Community. You know, we heard that General Community has done so much important.
It's bad. I'm not getting to tell you it's bad, please. It's bad. Call us on those numbers on 0777 777 107. Call us on 0777 221 223. Let's go back to the line. Talk to our next caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. And good morning to my brother in the my name is Israel Johnson, and I call from Bolívar Junction.
Go ahead.
Mr. Cummings, you are saying, and I think the Mr. Cummings in 2017, 2023, and the Cummings today. The Cummings are new people. He has changed to be a legislative Cummings, and when you continue to trust me, 2029, you will be the
Sky. Let's go back to line 2. Talk to our next caller. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Dimak?
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Omar.
I'm not getting you. You're very, very low.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you again. Please, my name is Mohamed Amadou Balo, member of CMC. Let me say good morning to Alexander Cummings, the political leader of ANC. I want to appreciate you at least for bringing him in studio to share his idea, because we believe that whenever Benin Kumi appears in studio, we take upon our time to listen to him, because he brings a lot to the discourse. Because when you listen to him, you don't just speak from the perspective of opposition, but you listen, speak and also put forth suggestions. We hope that Benin Kumi will be open for alignment and realignment, because we believe that if Benin Kumi and Musa Hassan Belete can able to join the structures to go forward. I just want to appreciate him for always availing himself. My name is Mohamed Amadou Balo, member of CMC.
Mohamed, thank you very much. Call me on those numbers on 0777 107. Let's go back to line 5. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Good morning to the political leader of the Alternative National Congress. I'm fast to command. No, this is close to me because one of those I admire so much is somebody who attempts to pull up beyond the pedestal. In both in the commercial aspect and our body politics. But there's this thing I have. You know, there's too much on my mind for his power leadership. Irani is surrounding. He's a good man, you know. He's somebody who always fought for certain issues. But Irani, I think Irani is just some of the most, you know, disrupting people around him. People who are not people centered. People who are not connected to the masses. He said, when you continue to have people who are not connected to the masses around him are seeing the president being too.
Who does he have around him? Who does he have around him that are not people centered? What do people need? Who there? Oh, my man, let's go back to the line, talk about next call of morning.
Good morning, Timas, and good morning to the next president of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Alexander Cummings. My name is Omaru Yusuf Sharif, a proud son of small town, Swemaka, Bomi County. I bring greetings on behalf of the people of the Western region to Mr. Cummings. We listen carefully, Timax. We nearly cried, right? When Mr. Kumi referenced the issues of Bear Mountain on the revolution made by former Lenzema minister as to how our work would have educated us today as young people. But today, our hopes are dying. But all I can say to those that go to mosques and churches around, God has answered our prayer with Mr. Cummings. But what is currently happening to this country is we are not being smart enough to know that Mr. Kumi is that holy answer by God. For all we want to say, we continue pushing hard, we want to encourage him and his family not to give up on Liberia. Mr. Kumi is that single hope we have at this moment to help this country. And we will do all we can. We know the system is fighting back. We better to have that shot. No, the masses support Mr. Cummings. But those that in power, those that are running the state right now, they are using the system that they are benefiting from against the masses by preventing this man coming to the presidency. I watched a video when you were in Rwanda. Timas, let's see to this. This is a conference with investors and CEOs over 1,000. Not a single person out of a government or private sector from Liberia that will represent them. But only this man, Mr. Cummings. How do you expect this state to progress if you don't have investors and CEOs from Liberia in such a summit where you dare represent with billionaires like Nigeria, Ghana, and other African countries that are making progress? But one day, one final day, that day comes 2029. God will bless the nation, and Mr. Cummings will be at the executive mansion running the economy of this state.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Call me on those numbers on 0777 107 be live on 5050 on Sky 107.1 FM. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
My dear brother, what's your name?
My name is Jonathan T. According from Stage Division.
Go ahead.
Yes, Alexander Kumi tell something that really inspired me to call this morning. Yes, on BA Martin case, how BA Martin looking for Liberia, Firestone looking for Liberia, and Aston Mental looking for Liberia. 2006, Liberia was the highest iron ore producer in Africa, but now you see Liberia is back. Liberia small boys, the development after national working. So you need to try Alexander Kumi. Alexander Kumi is the resident of Liberia. I think Alexander Kumi is the leader to lead the young people because he is informed, is very well for the young people. They send me to school and they send a lot of people in situation for all people are in need of it. People are getting money from CMC everywhere, every time.
Thank you very much. Call me on that number. We can take 3 more calls. We wrap up the program. Call me on this number. So 0777 107 you be live on 5050 on Sky. Let's go back to the line. Talk to our next caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Tima Jalate, and good morning to the political leader in studio. My name is Ali Kiadi National Youth Chair of the ANC. We are particularly concerned about the FOIA project. That project is a crime scene, and that is why the ANC is making every effort to unravel what went wrong in FOIA.
Why you call it crime scene? Why do you call it crime scene? What crime has been committed there?
Scene because it beats every imagination. We saw concrete pouring out in the jungle without explanation. Even the president admitted sinfully that the project was hidden for him. It speaks to who is in charge of the state. If such a project can be hidden for the presidency, it's very unfortunate. That is why the ANC is trying to unravel the mystery that happened in FOIA, and it is upon the government to establish a committee around that project. If the government fails to investigate as the ANC has requested, we have other remedies to look forward to. Like the political leader mentioned, we could use other means to compel compliance. Because this is the Nigerian people funds. Our funds must be accounted for. These people came to power on the mantra of rescue. You cannot start to do shrouded projects that are shrouded in mystery and no understanding. We say no to that. The ANC going forward is going to question every step the government takes.
Thank you very much. Let's take one last caller. Call me on this number, 07777-107. You'll be live on 5050 on Sky 107. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Mr. Chilaje. How you doing?
Oh, I'm all right, my brother. What's your name and where you calling me from?
My name is Obadiah Kepler. I call you from up the bypass.
Go ahead, Obadiah.
Yeah, Mr. Chilaje, let me appreciate Mr. Cummings for all what he has said. One question who believe in Mr. Cummings so much. 2023, I suppose that this man not even knowing him. But with all what he has said, yeah, he has just built a confidence that I should continue to support him. Mr. Chilaje, what I want to say to Mr. Cummings is that Mr. Cummings continue to engage with Liberian people and engage other political parties. Because we all know in this country, there's no one political party can win an election. So that with that said, I think it will help a whole lot. But some of us, we are ready, we are able, and we will continue to support Mr. Cummings everywhere, anytime, any day he appears on the ballot. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, producer. Allow me to take one more call, so we'll go to the line to talk to our very last caller. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. What's your name and where you calling us from? Have I lost it? Call me on number 07777 07. You'll be live from 5050 on Sky 107. Good morning.
Good morning, man.
Okay, good.
Myself, but in the studio, Alexander Brandon Cummings.
Good.
Yeah, there is a voice of Samuel Rasta, Tina. I don't know the show went full in Zimbabwe. Liberian from Georgia. Look, tonight, I have someone talking about collaboration. He said he could do collaboration. I just want to know, I want to ask you a question. I want to know because you're the biggest record setter in Nigeria, George. We are. He won Africa 2 times and win the presidency 2 times. He want to go as running mate to be vice president. You want to be vice president. You want you to be a vice president. Would you agree? Yes or no?
Thank you very much. So we turn over to Mr. Cummings to make comments on the callers.
Yeah, the comments were mostly suggestions, I guess, comments. So let me just thank everybody. Ishmael, thank you for your comment. Maru, thank you as well. Jonathan talked about big opportunity for our country. Not just be mountain, by the way. As I said, if we don't change the way we concession agreements, it can be a Timakilatia company will get the same results. Right? We gotta change that model. Aliyu called about the FOIA project. Yes, we're waiting for the LACC to respond to us and to do the investigation. I wouldn't use the words you use of a crime scene, but the young people they can use those kind of description. Obadiah, thank you as well. Obadiah and Mohammed from CMC talked about collaboration. As I said earlier, we'll open the collaboration. But we'll do it differently from what we did in the past. because we learned from some lessons for that, but open to collaboration. And then to, I guess, Denise Sabu from Zimbabwe. Look, I'm running for president. Right? You don't run to be somebody's VP, right? And I remind him and others that our objective for getting into politics, right, is to work with Liberians so we can change the country. It's not just to get a job. And the job that gives you the authority, the responsibility, the obligation to change the country is the presidency, right? You're head of state, head of government, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, a very powerful role, right? And for me, the ambition is to change the country. The job is a means to an end. The job is what facilitates that, but that's not the ambition. The ambition is to change Liberia for the benefit of all Liberians, and our job allows you to do it. So that's why we want the job to change it. So that's the ambition. But again, let me thank you for the conversation. You know, always good conversations, good questions. Thank to all the callers, all the listeners. And again, let's continue to pray for our country. Pray for the leadership of Liberia. It's in our interest for them to be successful. We make no apologies for holding them accountable, for calling them out. But we want what's best for our country. And we want to encourage Liberians. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. You keep letting the same people with the same kind of experiences, you get the same result. And that Liberia deserves better.
Why do you think we keep going through the same pattern?
Liberia deserves better. Look, I think I take responsibility for not making the case powerful enough. You know, I don't dismiss the feedback from one of the callers who talked about the people around me. I think it's Baha somebody. Look, if the perception is I got the wrong people around me, I got to do something about it, right? I don't think I did, but if that's the perception, then I need to fix it, right? So maybe it's all those things that, and I own my lack of success. I don't own anybody for it. But we're going to do many things differently this time around, and hope we get a different outcome.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings, for accepting our invitation. And we thank our sister radio stations, Prime FM 105.5, Joy FM 101.5, Kia FM 95.9. This is how we come to the end of this edition of 50/50. My name is T-Max. But let me put it this way before we close. Our country's blessing is reflected in its citizens. If we are that blessed as assumed by people, and our citizen rate is poor, then let me put it to you brutally, you are cursed. Because those two angles don't run parallel. We can't come to where we are blessed. We are blessed. The citizens are poor. That is a curse. Is Liberia out of the woods? No. We gotta keep changing the cards until we can win the game. And so when the game is won, the citizenry will be that reflection of that game. And I know we come to the end of this edition of 50/50. My name is T-Max. Thank you for being part of this packaging of 50/50. Tomorrow morning again, I'll be here to discuss another issue with no malice, no hatred. But I'm sure optimistic about Liberia. We get better.